D&D is a fun hobby, but what if I told you it could also make you money? I have 5 ways to monetize your D&D experience, meaning all the time and money you invest into your game can be invested into your bank account. Now, a disclaimer. Monetizing your hobby isn't always a great thing, and many people find that doing what I'm talking about in this video can just suck the fun right out of TTRPG games. Also, you're probably not going to get rich doing this. We're talking about pocket money. That being said, it can be worth it. I'm a key example of making pocket money in action. I monetize my D&D hobby by making content about D&D online. Right now on YouTube, I'm averaging about $2,000 Canadian a month. That is a huge help to me when it comes to paying rent in expensive Toronto. Hence, my first way of making money with D&D is making video content online. All you need to get started is some free editing software like DaVinci Resolve and your mobile phone or a cheap USB mic, as well as a laptop or computer. All things most people have access to in this post-pandemic work-from-home world. The pros of D&D content creation is that it can be fun if you enjoy film production and storytelling. The barrier for entry is quite low, and if you get to the point where you're confident at making videos, it's not actually that competitive. The D&D audience and community online is growing much faster than there are new good content creators. And if you do get very successful in this space, you can make a lot of money because you'll get access to sponsorship opportunities and just the ability to branch out and sell other things to your audience. The cons, however, are that if you are new to the online content creation space, it can take a while to gain the skills to make engaging, attention-grabbing videos that people enjoy. Therefore, it can take a while before you get to the point where you can make anything meaningful money-wise. I'm still trying to figure out what makes people click and what keeps them watching, and it's only actually a select few of my videos that go on to make any meaningful money. Also, making videos is time consuming, so it's a lot of extra work aside from just enjoying D&D. And there's one other big con too, the YouTube roller coaster of getting views to not getting views, the channel's thriving to the channel's dying, to the channel's thriving again. It can take a pretty big toll on you mentally, and often leads to burnout. And it's not helped by the fact that there is a very loud minority, at least I hope it's a minority, of D&D fans in the community who have a lot of negativity in their soul, and they just love to smear that negativity in the comments. It can be gatekeepery, entitled, arrogant, and a resentful space sometimes. But this is combated by the rest of the community, who are some of the most welcoming, open and lovely people I've ever come across. And I'm not just saying that in hopes that you subscribe, by hitting the subscribe button below, of which only 5% of people are actually subscribed to my videos, by the way, who watch them, which is wild. So subscribe. And unsubscribe later if you're not happy with me for whatever reason. My next method of monetizing D&D is for DMs, and it's professional DMing. And there's a few ways you can get into this depending on where you live. In big cities, there are often events happening like D&D nights at bars or game stores that are always on the lookout for new DMs. Though to get in with those, you probably have to show up a few times and network first, or reach out to the people who run those events via email. There are also websites that you can create profiles on and sell your DM skills as a service, such as Fiverr or startplaying.games, where you can just play online and earn money from home. Pros of this is that DMs are rare, so you would be a hot commodity. Also, you can earn good money from this, with some pro DMs earning upwards of 80k a year, though they do tend to play multiple games a day, which would get incredibly exhausting for me at least. But if you can also just do a few games a week and earn some loose change, this is really good if you love DMing, especially if you don't have a group right now. The cons are that you don't know what you're going to get when it comes to players, and that you really need to bring your A game every game if you want people to keep coming back for more. I've seen people charge anywhere from $10 to $30 a game, up to 6 people. And some people have ongoing campaigns weekly with the same people. So it's just like running a home game for your friends, but you get to earn hundreds of dollars every time you do it. I do, however, think this is for people who really enjoy running games for strangers, and that the skill set needed to DM and the prep time tends to mean that the DMs are wildly underpaid. However, if you do it for long enough and you're constantly DMing for new people, you can start to use the same modules over and over again. You can just do the prep once, then use that for multiple different groups, having tweaked it slightly. But what if you're a DM who doesn't want to play more D&D? What if you just want to take all the hard work you're putting into your home game and sell it? Well, a lot of DMs do this. I've seen people who make a lot of homebrew classes, spells, items, NPCs, locations for their players, then turn them into pretty PDFs, then just put them on Patreon for paying members. I've also seen DMs who plan out intricate adventures with unique encounters, exciting story hooks, and cool locations. They just take it all and put it in the form of an adventure module PDF. Most of the work's done. They just have to lay it out nicely and tidy a few things up, maybe add and change a few things to make it work, and then they sell that module on something like DriveThruRPG or DM's Guild. And if you want to take it to the next level and you have a phenomenal unique idea for an actual D&D book, then you can create a Kickstarter to fund it. Though having some kind of audience already is highly recommended before attempting something like that, or having some spare marketing money to pay content creators or put ads up on the web can also help. The pros of turning your pre-done work into PDFs to sell is obviously the work's mostly done already, and it really is evergreen content you're pumping out, and some homebrew items that you start selling now may still be making money in 5 years' time. Cons of this is that it is very highly competitive, so without some way to make your stuff stand out, you may struggle to get a foothold. Running off all of that, if you enjoy making specifically battle maps online, if you're an artist who spends a lot of time creating beautiful creative environments, then I have seen Patreon creators who publish 2 maps a week and make literally upwards of 10k a month. And speaking of Patreon, if you like my content and want to see more of it, then please consider supporting me on Patreon or become a channel member on YouTube. It's incredibly cheap here, like less than $1, and every little helps. But what about selling physical products instead? Now, this is kind of an expensive barrier of entry, but I hear of so many D&D players making their own dice or having a 3D printer and printing and painting their own minis just for fun, and so that they can customize everything exactly how they want it. But if you are creating these things just because you enjoy doing it, sell that stuff. I see people selling cool homemade things on Etsy or Amazon all the time, and this can branch out from just the basic stuff to homemade dice trays, gaming tables, DM screens, to even homemade candles and soap shaped like dice. If you're into crafting and making stuff, then you can craft and make D&D related stuff and sell it. The pros of this are obviously you can make a lot of money if you get popular, but the cons are, of course, again, it's very competitive and also very expensive to get started, and also you kind of need the experience in making whatever it is you're trying to make to actually make it good. Speaking of experience and skills, if you're an artist, you can totally draw people's original characters for them. I see people do this all the time on Fiverr, and I think it's pretty popular with players wanting to immortalize their group somehow. And what a great gift to a player or DM, where you give them a picture of their adventuring party. This also extends to digital artists too, not just in the sense of creating images, but also 3D artists who can create miniature models. And they can just sell those files alone, or it can go hand in hand with printing these models and painting them, like we spoke about earlier. Right now, I'm just imagining a group of D&D players, one who comes up with cool homebrewed NPCs, another who 3D models them in Blender, another who has a 3D printer and prints them out, then another who paints them. Just a conveyor belt, creating cool minis that they can then sell. Anyway, I got sidetracked. The pros of creating D&D art for people is, of course, if it's something you enjoy, then it's easy money. But the cons are, of course, that it's time consuming, and you aren't really choosing what you work on yourself, and you kind of need to be a good artist to start with. And to give you an example of some of these previous things working in unison, YouTube creator D&D Shorts started making video content online, then started making homebrew products that he made money on via his Patreon, then he made a Kickstarter that made his team over $1 million. He's a rare example of doing this incredibly well, and is probably an exception that proves the rule, but if you can choose any one of these avenues and even just find 1% of the success he found, then I think many people would consider it worth it. You just need to come at it from the mindset of, I like doing this and can make money from it, rather than a mindset of, oh, I can make money from it, I should do it, whether I enjoy it or not. And a bonus one that I've not included in the main 5 of this video is TTRPG freelance journalism. If you like the idea of being a journalist and talking about TTRPGs, then start a blog, cover the news. Now, this is incredibly competitive, and a lot of big companies have been straight up firing their gaming writers, but I do believe in the future, finding a voice you can connect with, talking about the games you love in a post-AI world will be so important, especially a somewhat unbiased voice, one not talking about scandals and using clickbait. There may be only a handful of journalists in the space that I actually trust nowadays, and that just feels bad. Another bonus one, and my cheekiest way to use your D&D experience, knowledge and passion to make money, is to get a job in the TTRPG industry. Not just D&D based, of course, but there are so many new TTRPGs coming out and multiple publishing houses that specialize in TTRPGs that do hire. You just have to find places you would love to work and then email them your resume and a cover letter, or just keep an eye on their websites to see when opportunities pop up. Let me know in the comments if you can think of any other cool ways that you can earn money by using your passion for TTRPGs, and check out another one of my videos. Thank you for watching.